Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we are gonna read more Louie. And we are starting from chapter 4. And let's get started with this book. And guys, do not forget to subscribe or like or comment down below. And let's get started. Wolf and apple. Okay. Chapter 4. Charles stared at his father. "What do you mean?" "Well," said Dad, "he's an awfully big puppy, and fostering him could be an awfully big job." "Remember Boomer?" Charles grinned. How could he forget the giant slobbery puppy the Petersons had once fostered? Boomer had been sweet, but maybe a little clumsy, and he shed a lot. Yeah, so that turned out okay in the end. Maybe, Dad said, if you don't count a few broken vases, some ruined clothes, and a giant food bill. We've fostered little dogs that were more trouble, Charles reminded him. He stroked Louie's big head. Now lay heavily in Charles' lap. Louie seemed to feel very comfortable with Charles already. "What about Daisy?" Dad laughed. "True, that pup was pretty destructive. Oh, our couch has never been the same." He held up his hands. "We'll talk it over as a family speaking, of which I bet your mom and the others are here by now, getting our picnic ready. Let's see if our furry friends is ready to join the party. What do you think, Louie?" Charles put his arms around the big pup's neck. "I promise you'll be safe." The black and white pup nuzzled Charles' ear until Charles giggled. Then he thumped his big tail on the ground. "Whatever you say, I trust you now." "I guess we'll have to hope that he'll stay with us until we find a leash and collar for him," said Dad. "I think he'll want to stick around once he finds out that we are having hot dogs," Charles said. He stood up only to find out that his foot was asleep from sitting cross-legged for so long with a big dog head on his lap. He stood on one foot and circled the other one. He felt the pins and needles. That meant it was coming back to life. "Come on, Louie. Let's go get you a treat." The puppy seemed to know that word. He looked up eagerly and nuzzled Charles' pocket, wagging his tail. "Treats? I'm totally into treats." Charles laughed. I don't have any yet, but we'll find you something as soon as we can." He petted the puppy's big, long ears. "Good boy," he said as they began to walk back toward the lake. They walked quietly for a while. Then Charles spoke up. "Dad, how could anybody abandon such a great dog?" Dad shook his head. "They probably thought they had a good reason, but there's never a good reason to leave a dog like that. If they couldn't keep him, they should have brought him into caring paws." Charles nodded. "And then Mrs. Dobbins probably would have called us to foster him anyway," he said with a grin. Miss Dobbins was the director of the local animal shelter. Charles' older sister, Lizzie, volunteered there every Saturday, and Charles often helped out too. For his next birthday, He was planning to ask everyone to donate food and supplies to Caring Paws. You're probably right about that, Dad admitted. But still, it was his to be a family decision to take on a foster pup of this size. Let's see what your mom thinks. Charles wanted to run on ahead and find Mom and beg her to let him foster Louie. He was already crazy about this big dude with the big black spots and the huge feathery tail. Maybe you should run on ahead. And Charles looked at his dad. How did he do that? It was like he was reading Charles' mind. Tell the other kids to take it easy when the puppy gets there, Dad finished. All right, said Charles. Good idea. He saw that they were about to come out of the bottom of the trail by the lake. Can you hold Louie? Dad knelt down and put his arms around the big pup. Ha ha, cut it out, he said when the puppy licked his face. See, he likes you, too, said Charles. Go on, said Dad, smiling. Charles ran down the path toward the cluster of people near one of the picnic tables on the lake shore. As he got closer, he saw Mom was there with Lizzie and the Bean, and Liam's parents and Sammy's dad. The twins' father had arrived, too. The adults were setting food out on the picnic table, while the boys kicked the soccer ball around. Hey, everybody, Charles called. Hey, we got the puppy to come back out. He's on his way here. He paused, panting. But he's kind of shy, so everybody has to be calm, okay? The twins' dad laughed. I hear he's kind of a wimp, he said. Charles stopped in his track and frowned. He didn't like that. No, he isn't, he said. Louie's just not used to lots of people jumping on him. Mom put her hands on his shoulders. We understand, Charles. We will be careful not to scare him. Right, boys? Right, Charles, Sammy, and Liam, and Hunter. But Tyler put his hand on his hips. Louie, he said. How did you find out his name? I just guessed it, said Charles. He just seems like a Louie. I bet I can't think better of a name, said Tyler. Charles shrugged. Hey, here he comes, he said, pointing at the edge of the woods. Dad and the big black and white pup were just emerging from the trail. Chapter 5. A Landseer, said Lizzie, as soon as she spotted the big puppy. Cool. A what? Said Charles. It was amazing how Lizzie always knew what the breed of a puppy or dog the second she saw it. It's a type of Newfoundland, Lizzie said. Instead of being a solid black like most of that breed, Landseers are spotted black and white, and smiled. She smiled. It's so perfect that we're at the lake Newfoundlands are water dogs. They used to rescue fishermen out of the freezing seas off Newfoundland, way up in northern Canada. Guys, I almost know all my dog's breeds. I almost. Uppy! Yelled the Bean. Charles grabbed his little brother by the sleeve before he could charge toward the big puppy. Hunter and Tyler's mom was holding the twins. Back two, come on, Mom, said Hunter, struggling to get away. I want to see the puppy. You can't see him, said the mom. You just can't jump all over him. Dad and Louie approached the picnic table. Louie's tail was down, and Charles could see the whites of his eyes as the puppy peered anxiously at the crowd of people. It's okay, Dad kept telling him. Nobody's going to hurt you. Louie hung back, but Dad managed to coax him along until they joined the group. Okay, easy now, everyone, Dad said. If you want to say hello to Louie, get down on his level and be very gentle and quiet. I brought a leash and collar, said Lizzie, them holding them up. Maybe I should put them on to make sure he doesn't run off. Good idea, said Dad. Lizzie knelt down and spoke softly to Louie as she buckled the collar around his big neck. Then she clipped on the leash. Good boy, she said. Louie thumped his big tail. He's so big, said Liam's mom, as the other kids knelt to pet Louie. This wasn't what I imagined when I reported a dog in a crate. You were the runner? Mom asked Mrs. Pooley, the one who posted the alert about an abandoned dog. She nodded. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't have a leash or a collar or a car. I ran home and put that posting online, then came back here as soon as I could. Did you see any vehicles leaving the parking lot? Mom asked. She pulled a small pad out of her pocket, her reporter's notebook. Charles smiled. His mom knew a good story when she heard one. Miss Pulley shook her head. Not one, she said, and there was no note on the crate or anything. Poor puppy. He'll be fine now, said Charles. Our family will foster him and find him a great home. Dad cleared his throat. I'm not so sure about that, he said. This is a big dog with big needs like a bath for one thing and some training. We'd want to try to figure out who left him and find him a great new home, which won't be easy because of his size. He might just be more than our family is ready for right now. I can relate to that, said Hunter and Tyler's mom. After our last experience with a dog, I said, no more dogs ever. What happened? Asked Mom. She gestured toward the table. Why don't we start eating while you tell us? That potato salad is calling my name. Charles felt his stomach grumble and remembered how hungry he was. Food! What a great idea. He and the other boys gave the puppy a few more pats, then got up to fill their plates along with the adults. Charles made sure to put an extra hot dog on his plate for Louie. So, what happened with your last dog? Mom asked again as they all sat down to eat. Mrs. Pagano looked at Mr. Pagano. I guess we just didn't make the best choice, she said carefully. Sadie was a big German Shepherd lab mix, which seemed perfect, said her husband. A pal for the kids and a protector for our property. But, asked Mom, but she was just a little too wild, said the twins' mom. She barked nonstop. Every time someone came to the door, jumped on the people and chased the neighborhood cats. And she bit the mailman, said Hunter. Right, said his mom. She bit the mailman. That was kind of the last straw. I have enough on my hands with these two. She smiled over at the twins. I can't handle an aggressive dog on top of everything else. We took her to the shelter in the town where we used to live, then promised to work with her and find her another home, said Mr. Pagano. That must have been a tough decision, said Miss Pulley, Liam's mom. At least you didn't abandon her in a parking lot, said Mom, shaking her head as she gazed down at Louie, who was gobbling a piece of hot dog Charles had just given him. That is just the worst, said Lizzie. If I ever find out who did that, we should find out, said Hunter. Around a mouthful of pasta and pesto. Ooh, that sounds good. We can be detectives and follow the clues and stuff. Then we can tell those people that what they did was really, really bad. Charles looked at him, surprised. That's a good idea, he said. And we could also help get the puppy cleaned up and help train him, said Tyler. So your family doesn't have to do all the work. It can be our next Cub Scout project, said Liam. It would be great practice for working toward our animal care activity badges. Charles grinned. That's a great idea, he said. He turned to his mom and dad. If it's a den project and we all help a lot, will you say yes to fostering Louie? Mom looked at Dad and raised her eyebrows. Dad nodded. Yay! Yelled Charles, Lizzie, and the Bean. Chapter 6, guys. So, guys, we're going to end this right here. And bye! Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment all down below. Bye! See you next time.